Hello and welcome to Higher Ground Gaming. This is Eric. Today we're going to do another board game unboxing of a older game from 2011 by Uwe Rosenberg. It's actually a reprint. We just picked this up from a local game store called Game Nights here in Gardner, Massachusetts. We had ordered it back in March, but right before the lockdown hit and everything, and their warehouse closed and just reopened a little while ago. So we just got this last week. So, but again, it's a game called ORA LABORA, which means prayer and work. It's a work replacement game by Lookout Games. I'm not sure if the other one had expert level on it, but this one does. I'm not sure exactly what makes it expert level, but it's a rather unique, some unique mechanisms in it, which we'll explore a little bit as we do the unboxing. So let's take a look at the box here. As you can see, it won a whole bunch of different awards. It was a winner from the Meeple's Choice Award. Gra Roku 2012 nominee. Spiel Portugal 2011. International Gamers Awards. Golden Geek Award nominee from 2012, and not sure one other award from 2012 also. Anyway, let's take a look at the back here. So let's see here. Let's see if we can read it here. Anyway, I'll read it there. So, monastic economy during the Middle Ages. Each player has with a clay mound, a cloister office, and a farmyard. He receives livestock, grain, coins, or clay, which he places his clergymen into these buildings. How many goods he receives depends upon the position of the goods indicator, the production wheel, which is a cool mechanism in this, which you can see right there. Whenever a goods type is taken, the corresponding goods indicator is moved back to 0. Each time the production wheel rotated at the start of a round, all production is increased. There are two other goods at the start of the game: wood and peat. These can be obtained when a forest or a moor card is removed from a player's landscape. Players can buy additional landscape to add to their starting landscape. These landscapes provide room to build buildings with building materials, as well as settlements with food and energy. Some of the buildings are special cloister buildings, since these must always be built adjacent to other cloister buildings. A cloister of ever-increasing size develops that the player can be rewarded for the house of the Brotherhood. The settlements are a special interest in the game. They must be cleverly built next to other buildings and settlements so that they are worth as many points as possible at the end of the game. Whoever is best carried out God's work with prayer and hard work at the end of the game is the winner. It says ORA LABORA can be played 1 to 4 players in either a long evening-filling version or a shorter version. The game includes 2 sets of game rules, so there's basically 2 ways you can play it: a shorter narrative set and a longer, more detailed set. A solo game lets players read the rules and immediately try out the game. So there's actually 2 versions of the game. There's an Irish version, and which takes place in Ireland, of course, and a French version, which takes place in France. And there's a few different buildings in each of the different versions. Other than that, most of the other buildings are the same, just with a few variants there. So, all right. So again, Uwe Rosenberg games. So if you're familiar with Feast for Odin, Agricola, Glass Road, different games like that. This is very similar work replacement goods, or like Le Havre, resource conversion type games. Comes with 2 boards, 2 production wheels, 110 cards, 450 goods tiles, 22 landscapes, 22 wood pieces, 8 game, 1 scoring pad, and 2 rule books. So I didn't think anything was upgraded in this. I think it's basically just a reprint of the original game with the same type of resources and everything. So without further ado, let's take a look at this and open it up. So the plastic on it isn't isn't really that tight, which is not a problem. But so let's take a look at this. So this comes up fairly easily, almost too easily. Almost it's like saran wrap around it. So let's take a look at this. All right. So a decent sturdy box. Put the box lid right here. And take a look and see what's inside the box here. So alright, so it looks like you have a couple of cards packs here. This will lay right on the top here. So these are the size of the cards that you're going to be placing on your boards and everything to build your settlements. So these look like these are the actual settlement cards. So these are the, show you some of these. This is the village. And you build them basically orthogonally. So as that cross in the middle there, red cross there, represents, you're going to be building your settlements north, south, east, and west basically right here. And then it shows the what it can be built around in the upper, if you look in the upper left-hand corner there, if I can get it to focus. Maybe not. Let's see here. But anyway, there's three things. It says coast, plains, and hillside, so that's where you can build it on. And, you know, there's different resources you got to pay. The 15 is food. I think the 9 is heat. And then it shows you how many victory points it's worth, I think, at the end, and how much it's worth inside. I think the red one is how much it's worth as far as your settlement scoring goes. All right. So there you go. So that's the village, and then you get just different settlements in here. You get a hilltop village, shanty town, farming village, market town, and so forth. Fishing village that goes on the coast, of course. Artist colony, hamlet, and so forth. So there's a lot of different settlements you can do, and there's different copies of each one of them. For each player is going to have the opportunity to build them at the end of their turn. I mean, at the end of so many rounds. And then these right here are just different landscapes you can build on your as part of your terrain and everything, in order to harvest resources like peat and wood and so forth. So let's see. There's a whole bunch of these. Yeah, and there's wood on the back sides of them. So I think this might be peat, and then on the other side wood. There's a whole bunch of these. Okay, so a whole stack of these. That's one of the stacks there. And then you got your regular buildings. These are basically going to be work replacement spots where you're going to, you know, put your workers. So this right here is a priory. And again, it shows you where you can build it on the upper left-hand corner. The resource, it takes 1 wood, and I think it's probably 1 clay there. And then how many points it's worth, how many shields it's worth, so that might be something different. And then how much it's worth in a settlement, too. And then there's another icon right there. And again, I think this is the Irish side, as you can see by the Irish clover there. So this is for use in the Irish game. Cloister courtyard. So in this right here, so this right here will allow you to use a building occupied by a prior. This right here is 3 different goods. You're going to be able to convert one time into 6 identical base goods. So this is very similar to like in Le Havre or the Agricola games like that. Granary. So this is going to take 1 grain, I think, or 1 coin or whatever, and you can convert that to 4 wheat and 2 something else or whatever it is. But yeah, this is basically just buildings that are going to be able to convert resources into higher grade resources. Peat, coal, bone, and so forth. False lighthouse. So different buildings in here. Houseboat. You're going to be able to build. So that's a good conversion one right there. Get all those resources for just a couple of coins. Builder's market site. Druid's house. cloister. So this is a cloister building, and these can only be placed next to other cloister buildings. So, and everything is, the iconography is very good. So once you learn it, you know, the yellow buildings, and then you have your slaughterhouse. Of course, you have sheep and wheat, and you make that into the meat. Alehouse. So there's whiskey, I believe, in the Irish one, and then I think it's wine in the French one. That's one of the differences between the two versions. Chapel, Portiso, shipyard, and so forth. So just different buildings you make, and these are all going to be different work replacement spots. And like I said, you can use, I think if you pay a certain amount, you can use different other people's buildings too, if you pay them through either resources or it might be wine or something like that in the French version, and or coin. So lots of different variety in this game with these. And more cloister buildings, and then these are more of the settlements right here. And the settlements come out, like I said, every few rounds they'll come out. So that's just another set of the same ones I showed you before. Okay. Alright. Alright, so plastic baggies, which is always a good thing when you have a lot of resources. So a bunch of those. Appreciated. And they're your basic wooden tokens and pawns and everything. So each person will get it's like a bishop type thing. It's like your main guy. Prior, I think it is maybe. So you'll get your main guy. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, so there you go. So you get your main guy, which is the one right here with the hat kind of thing. And then you get your two little peon workers there. So your regular workers and your that. I'll just show you. So there you go. And your main bishop guy, we'll get to the name of that guy, the actual name of it later. He is your main worker, and he's more powerful. So so if you build the building, he'll be able to use like one of your buildings right away. Whereas the other workers, you can't build. You can't use right away with those workers when you build something. But yeah, that's all you get is the 3 workers there. And after you're done placing them, you basically collect them up and start over again with them. Okay. All right. So let's bring this back here. And of course, oops. Okay. All right. So anyway, you have your different colors, your red colors. So you have green, red, oops, blue, and white. So those are your 4 colors there. And then these are your for the resource wheel. You get sheep. I think this is your wild resource right here. So you're going to get a wild resource, which counts as anything. Let's see, that's wood possibly. It's either wood or peat. I always get them mixed up. I think this is coal, maybe, for heat. And then you get your stone probably. One of them's stone, one of them's peat. I'm not sure exactly which one is which, but all your different resources are represented by these right here. And these you got to all go on the wheel. That's the wheat, obviously. Grow grain. And then that's another one there. And then this one right here is you're going to put on the wheel, and it's going to tell you going to build your settlements. So it's a game about timing. Oh, here's the wood, actually. This is the wood. So the other one might have been peat or whatever other resources are in the game. But that's it. Those are all the different pawns and stuff in the game. That's it. So okay, you get your score pad here. So scoring is fairly simple at the end of the game. You're just going to score all your settlements. And then the other points on the buildings that are outside the settlements, I think, and count up your goods. And that's pretty much the scoring. It's pretty straightforward when you do it at the end. All right, let's see what these are. I think these are your player aids coming up next. Yeah, I think that, yeah, these are your player aids, which are your courser around, phase, actions, what you can do in your actions, resource conversions, possible work contract with another player, what you can pay them in order to visit, in order to use one of the buildings. Additional actions right here. And this is the French side. And then you got your water, your landscapes. you get your water, your coast, and then on your plains, you're going to have the harvested moors and your forest, felled forests. And you get your hillsides and your mountains. And on the back, I'm sure, is the Irish. No, not yet. So this right here, I think this describes all the different buildings in the game, or a lot of the different buildings. For the French side, anyway. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, because it goes up to 4. And then you have your same thing I mentioned before over the Irish side. So you get distilleries and whiskey and stuff you're going to make in this one. And then your resource conversion for the Irish buildings. So these are decent player rates. A little bit thin, but that's okay. They're alright. They're just player rates. And there is no actual player board in this because you're actually building your own. Well, there's some boards to it, but it's not a main player board. So these are the game setup here. This is the main instruction manual. So let's see what we get for the resources in the game. So you have your clay. That's the top one there. And then you have a wood. Oh, and peat is the gray one. Livestock. So it's not just sheep, it's livestock in general. Grain or wheat. Coins, that's it. Okay, that's the orange one is the coins. And then you have your joker one, which is your kind of like wild resource, which can count as anything. So this is actually not the instruction booklet. I think it's just the how to set up the game. It's a setup chart. So you get set up the game board, the production wheel, the buildings. And on the back, you more stuff for the buildings. Oops. Stone and grapes. So those come out later, the stone and the grapes. And then what you give each player to set it up. The different settlement cards and how you set it up around the wheel. So it is a little bit of a beast, especially initially when you're learning the game, how to set it up. So what you're going to take is a learning curve with that. And what you got to put, you got to put the different settlements around the wheel. They're all labeled A through D, I think. Yep. So there you go. So that is the setup. Now here are the instructions right here, I believe. You got general rules. So not too many. So basically you're going to get a player board like this right here. And then you can add different other player boards to it. So general rules. First action option, basic buildings. Let's see here, just examples of how to put the landscape and how to score a settlement, that kind of stuff. Yeah, right here, how to score a settlement. So this isn't big at all. This is only 4 pages, so it's not rules heavy, which is good. And then this is pretty thick, actually. The detailed game rules. So those must be like the general rules. So the detailed game rules are a little bit thicker. So there's a lot to this one. So 110 cards, 450 goods, as we explained earlier. More examples and everything. How to use the wheel and everything. Again, that's the mechanism in this game, is the wheel. And then here, how to use the wheel, explains different things about it. So this one's got obviously more rules in it because it's detailed. Not as many pictures and examples, but. And then in the back here, so 8 pages for this one, which still isn't too bad. All right, so there's that. Then let's see what this is. This is the cool thing too. This is all the buildings here in alphabetical order and what they do in detail. So that's cool. So Le Havre had this too, which was kind of neat. So yeah, so it describes what each building does and all that stuff, what they can store, the different conversions and everything in here. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, what you need. So all the different goods and how you use them. So it kind of gives you a little bit of strategy, I think. Different buildings again. And so this is, looks like 12 pages for this. And then now the components. So lots of components in here. Let's see how the quality is for this. So these are your goods tiles in here. So these are double-sided like in Le Havre. One side is the basic good, and I think the other side is the, this is the basic side. And then if you flip them over, you can get the processed goods and everything. So, yeah, coins and then books and stuff. Actually, there's different goods on each side, so. Yeah, that's grain and wheat, I guess. Grain and wheat, so. Let's take a look at one of these, so. Yeah, kind of about the same size as like in Le Havre. Not the thickest, but not the thinnest either. Definitely better than a lot of the Ravensburger games, but thicker. So like medium thickness. So more resources here. So tons of different resources. Both double-sided. And these are the big, those are the smaller sheets, and now the big sheets with everything on it. So tons of goods, So a lot of resource conversion in this, which we like. So this is definitely a game on the heavier side. There you go. Just to show you everything here. Alright. Voila. Okay. And now here's the wheel, which is the kind of the heart of the game. So this right here. So you're going to have the wheel here, which is going to, a certain amount of rounds. And you can see the letters, which tells you when to put out your different settlements and everything. And then that's going to go on the wheel right there. That's going to be what you turn. And it'll tell you how many goods you have of each thing. And this is, I believe, double-sided also. Yep. So this right here, this side, has to do with a 3-player game on the Irish side. Or the French side, I think, too. And then this side right here is for the 4-player game. And I think there's another wheel in here, I believe. Yep, right here. So this one right here is another one for the 3-player one, maybe? I'm not sure exactly. But then this one right here is, I think this is for another 3 or 4-player one. I'm not sure. This might be for the shorter or longer game, too. Yeah, this one looks like it's a shorter game on this side. Because it's got less spaces right here. So this might be for the shorter game. And I think the other one was for, I don't know, it just said 3 and 4 it looked like. And this one right here is for, I think, 1 or 2-player. So I think you might, for the 1 or 2-player, you might play with the shorter wheel possibly. But actually this is, looks like 1 or 2-player. Because it does go from 1 to 4, and this is probably for 3 or 4-player. That's probably what it is. Yeah, that's it. So it's adjusted. And then some more goods right here. More goods to punch out. So lots of goods. And now here, these are your, I think these were improved in this one. Because I did notice that these were they looked very flimsy in the original. Oops, sorry. You don't want to see that. These were very flimsy, it looked like, in the original game, but these are a lot thicker in this one. So it looks like they might have improved this. Oops, buddy. It's Brody pulling the camera over, sorry. So these are your thick boards, and these are the main boards you're going to get. So these are kind of like the start player board, and then you're going to be able to add boards around it. So just one-sided because these are the back sides. So these are what you're going to start with here. So you start with a cloister, a farmyard, and a clay mound. And then you have forests and other things on it, and you're going to be able to expand these. So 4 players there. And these are going to out. So these are your forests and meadows and whatnot. So some of them are going to peat in it, some of the forests. And then these they have a cost on them too. And this is the back side of them. And I think depending upon how many players and what, whether you're playing solo or multiplayer, you use a particular side of these two. And these are pretty much all the same. I think they get increasingly higher in cost. So as the game goes on, they're going to get more expensive. But yeah, this is the same things. So get rid of those. And now here, I'm going to the ocean tiles right here. So these are going to be, you're going to put these to the left of your settlements. You have to, you put them, orient them correctly. And then more landscape there. And here's some more ocean tiles and everything. More ocean or water tiles. And then here, and actually on the back of these right here, are going to be there's more like mountains and stuff where you get your minerals and peat and stone and all that kind of stuff from, I guess. But you'll be able to purchase those. And that is pretty much it. No insert and everything in here, which is kind of sad, but not a lot. These, I don't think will have had inserts, and I don't think Agricola did either. So that's kind of sad. But I guess you could, you can purchase some from, Meeple Realty or Meeple Source or one of those two, maybe. But that's pretty much it. That is ORA LABORA by Uwe Rosenberg. And that is our unboxing here. So again, this has a solo mode in it, which we're going to get to the table soon. But just wanted to do another unboxing here. So thank you for joining me. It's been Eric from Higher Ground Gaming. And another board game unboxing. So take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye now.